Man, someone really needs to tell the Leafs that the NHL isn't a video game. Because seriously, the way they're putting this roster together, it looks like they open up GM mode on NHL 25 and turn on trade override. Just look at this possibility that started floating around. Auston Matthews at center, Matthews and Knies on one wing, and on the other side, Owen Tippett, the guy who could turn the Leafs' top line into a combo of brute force and speed that no defender wants to deal with. I can already picture it. Face off at the start of the game, Matthews wins the draw. Knies bulldozes the first defender who dares to come close, and Tippett cuts down the wing with the puck. And at that moment, you just see the opponents accepting their fate like NPCs in a video game. For those a bit lost in the drama, the Toronto Maple Leafs are heading into the season with 2 spots on their top line already locked in. Knies and Matthews are untouchable, no debate there. But the right wing, that one's still up in the air. The team brought in Matias Maxelli, a creative, skilled player. But let's be real. If you get the chance to grab Owen Tippett, you don't think twice. Tippett was a top 10 pick in the 2017 draft, landed in Philadelphia in the deal that sent Claude Giroux to the Florida Panthers, and since then has built a reputation of not a superstar, but plays a level every team would love to have. He's the kind of winger who might not be splashed across magazine covers, but who could make an entire line way more dangerous. And of course, despite still playing at a high level, the price for the Leafs would be steep, the kind that makes fans frown at first, but then take a deep breath and go, okay, that makes sense. The package would be Nick Robertson 2 draft picks, and Calle Jarnkrok just to balance the cap math. Let's break this down. Robertson is that player who seems to be stuck forever in almost mode. The talk has always been that he'll break out, that the talent is there. But when you look at production, it never quite gets to where it needs to be. Classic case of a promise that doesn't turn into reality when the team needs it. And Toronto is no longer in the wait and develop phase. They need immediate impact. Jarnkrok, meanwhile, is useful. But in this case, he's more of a cap adjustment piece than a major technical loss. Now, here's the core of it. Why all the buzz about Tippett? Simple. The guy has the full package of a modern power forward. He's 6 feet 1 inch, 210 pounds, fast, explosive, and knows how to use his body. He's practically a mirror image of Matthews and Knies, only with more experience in the league. Picture those 2 locomotives crashing into opposing defenders, opening up space and causing physical chaos on the ice, while Auston Matthews just sits there with time and space, ready to unleash that lethal shot we all know. It's one of those lines that, on paper, you just look and think, there's no way to defend this. Of course, you can't ignore the contract part. Tippett signed a long deal. 8 years, nearly $50 million, with a cap hit of 6.2 per season. Heavy? Yes, especially in Toronto's tight salary cap situation. But when you look ahead, the rising cap will make that number more manageable each year. What looks expensive today might even look like a bargain down the road, depending on how he performs. It's the kind of gamble that feels risky only until you picture Matthews and Tippett celebrating goal after goal. Now, there is one concern. Last season wasn't his best. He only scored 20 goals, well below his previous 2 seasons of 27 and then 28. But the explanation is pretty clear. It had much more to do with the mess that the Flyers were as a team than with Tippett himself. Anyone who followed Philly knows not much worked properly, and it's hard to demand elite numbers in that kind of chaos. On a structured team, with an elite center feeding him the puck, the expectation is that Tippett bounces right back. Playing next to Matthews is basically an open invitation to hit that 30-goal mark. And here's where the opinion side kicks in. This kind of move shows a shift in attitude from the Leafs. For years, the narrative has been that the team leaned too heavily on its stars and left holes all over the ice. Now, even considering Tippett means basically saying, we're not just reinforcing the top line, we're building a nightmare. It's the type of trade that, if it works, changes the team status. If it fails, of course, it'll provide months of jokes. Because let's be honest, nothing becomes a meme faster than the Leafs all in blowing up in their face. But if you look at it objectively, it makes sense. Toronto is done living off promises in the maybe next year speech. They need players who are ready, established, and can deliver now. Tippett may not be flawless, but he's exactly that type. Physically dominant, with a history of scoring, and still young enough to fit into the existing core. Risky? Yes. Expensive? Very. But it's that calculated risk that shows fans and the rest of the NHL that the Leafs want to stop being a playoff punchline and start being a real threat. And honestly, if this deal actually happens, the scene will be unforgettable. Matthews at center, Knies on one wing, Tippett on the other. That's the kind of line you throw on the ice and think, good luck stopping this. And if it doesn't work, well, at least the drama will make for top-tier entertainment. Because when it comes to the Leafs, we're always getting a reality show, whether it's success or failure. See you tomorrow with more frozen chaos straight from the NHL.